sure he's unmuted.
Go for it, Matt.
What's cracking, everybody? Money Smart Guy Matt Sapaula here, Chief Distribution Officer, alongside my co-host, Field Advisory Member Marlene Gaytan. Marlene, how you doing today? What's up for our show today?
I'm awesome. Today's Cinco de Mayo. We're going to have an awesome show.
Awesome.
And today we have the next cash flow millionaire, Ricky Aguilar, in the house.
Wow, we got Ricky Aguilar, and we have some exciting details here. We're going to be talking about rising income taxes. How does this affect you under President Joe Biden? We're going to be talking a little bit about what was said with Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett about Bitcoin during their annual shareholder meeting at Berkshire Hathaway. We're also going to talk about 5 things you can do to say, I love you on Mother's Day. We're going to be talking about our newly released on Newsweek, our diversity report at PHP Agency and the difference between a W-2 and a 1099 independent contractor mindset in this episode 7 of the PHP podcast, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, guys, I'm fired up for this. Marlene, can you please introduce our guest today? As you mentioned earlier, future cash flow, first generation millionaire of the Aguilar family. So Marlene, please do the deed.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's an honor. Ricky and Erica Aguilar are one of my favorite couples in the entire company. I think they just have such an incredible story of the American dream, and they've only been here in PH for 5 years. He's a self-proclaimed roughneck from the oil fields of Bakersfield. He was an oil field supervisor. So if you see him, he looks rough around the edges. His younger brother, Alejandro, got recruited first, and then he got recruited, him and his wife. Only been here for 5 years, one of the fastest growing brokers in the entire country. And he's very loved here in PHP. So the one and only Ricky Aguilar, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. It's
Ricardo, what's up, brother?
How are you guys? Pleasure's all
Bro,
right.
you got to show me. You got to show us. Are you wearing the Centenario? Are you?
I'm not wearing it today, Matt. I should have because it's Cinco de Mayo, but I totally forgot I was on the way out. Totally forgot it. But it's appropriate for the moment, though.
I got it, bro. By the way, you remind me. I got something special for you guys. Hold on, real quick. I got to do this. I got this from Cancun, but yeah,
I love it.
Come on, bro. We're talking about singing. Tell us the significance. I look like an idiot. Tell us the significance of Cinco de Mayo so we can educate everybody, because it's not what a lot of people think.
Right. So a lot of people confuse Cinco de Mayo with September 16th. So Cinco de Mayo it's by the way, it's a celebration that was started here in California. It's not celebrated in Mexico. Cinco de Mayo was a revolution that happened during a war with the French. So I believe it was 1865. The French overpowered the Mexican army 8,000 to 4,000. And it was a small victory that really picked up the momentum to lead us into other revolutions that ultimately led us into our independence. So Mexican Independence Day is actually on September 16th. Cinco de Mayo was a significant battle won. It was not, a lot of people think it's Mexican Independence Day. It's not. And it's an Mexican-American celebrated holiday. It is not a Mexican in Mexico celebrated holiday, but nonetheless, it's a very important. It was fought in Puebla, so the French came through Veracruz, and what they ended up doing is that they came, and the reason that Mexico was such a hot spot, states like Guanajuato have to this day had gold mines. So Mexico was very famous for that's why the Spaniards invaded the Aztecs and the Mayans, because Mexico was very rich with gold and silver. And actually, in Guanajuato. There's they have tunnels, right, where you're able to track where cars go through. Right, now they're tunnels, but those are actually old mines that now they use them as roads. So it was filled with gold so much that the mines were so big that they ended up making them tunnels to be able to have cars use them for transportation in the modern day. So the Battle of Puebla, though significant because it picked up the momentum, and the reason it's such a significant battle, it's because literally the Mexican army, which was poorly equipped and not really ready to fight, were outnumbered 2-1. 8,000 well-equipped, healthy, trained French soldiers versus 4,000 unequipped, poorly trained Mexican soldiers. They ended up winning that war And that's how that ended up happening with the Cinco de Mayo celebration. If I'm not mistaken, 1865.
So you tell me the Mexicans did more with less. Is that what
Yes,
you're
they did
basically
more.
saying?
And by the way, that's something that we're very notorious for doing.
Marlene, is Cinco de Mayo something that you grew up celebrating in your household?
No, Rick,
Wow.
it's an amazing holiday here in the U.S. It's a good reason, to get together with friends, have tequila, have some tacos maybe.
Of
But
course.
it's the equivalent of Taco Bell in Mexico. They would look at it and say that is not tacos, like that's not real. So, but we celebrate with our American friends.
That, by the way, I always found that you brought Taco Bell. I always found it funny when they came up with that marketing campaign, Run for the Border. I've always found that as a funny thing for Taco Bell to be able to do that. Like, who was paying attention to the marketing campaign for that Run for the Border? But nevertheless, we have a lot of the PHP family that does share also the Latin background, which we'll be getting into the PHP diversity report here later on in this podcast. You'll be shocked as we share this PHP diversity report. What comprises the ethnic demographics of PHP Agency? You'll be surprised and shocked to see how we're growing with that. And for those of you joining us right now, you're on episode 7 of the PHP Agency Podcast. We're featuring Ricky Aguilar today. And my co-host, again, is Marlene Gaytan, fellow first-generation cash flow millionaire and board member of our field advisory board. And if you're watching this on Facebook right now, please share it. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you also subscribe to our YouTube channel too as well, as we're looking to creep up to 55,000, 60,000 subs on our PHP Agency channel. So let's jump right into it. I'm excited to see what your opinion is, Ricky, because you're very outspoken in how you believe certain things should be run in this country, and I'm wondering what you feel right now with the rising income taxes that President Joe Biden is proposing. We just heard him on the he addressed the nation a couple of days ago on last week, and free college this, and we're getting this done. We're raising taxes. People are getting whacked in taxes. People making above $400,000, which is obviously what you fit into now these days. You're potentially going to go from 37% up to 39.6%, and you're also in California under Newsom, where you're making more money
Hopefully
over $1 million
not
bucks.
for long, by the way. Hopefully not for long.
Recalled, right?
Recalled, yes.
And so there's so many things that have been phased out, phased in. Tax credits, all these different things. What are your thoughts about the environment they're in right now, where people that are making more money are potentially going to get taxed more under the Biden proposed tax plan?
Well, I was looking into it, and a lot of people in the middle class, people that are not making 400,000, think they're not going to be affected by this. They're sorely mistaken. You cannot tax the 1% and think that you're going to come up with the money that this the country is literally $6 trillion have gone out. 6 trillion, guys. The top 1% doesn't even have $1 trillion of it.
Yep.
You cannot only tax 1% of the income earners and think that you're going to come up with the rest of the money that's needed. But here's the reality behind things. I hear a lot of people I've heard on TV. There was this activist talking about free college. She says the rich need to pay their fair share. Their fair share of what? Your life choices?
Yep.
What do I got to pay my fair share of? For decisions that you made? So you want to go to school and you want to get yourself in debt, and then you want me to pay my fair share of your decisions. I didn't sign on the dotted line, you did, right? So you're the one that signed that contract. But I mean, do I think that do we need to contribute and help? Obviously, our senior citizens. Do we need to help our disabled? Yeah, 100%. Our veterans, 100%. People that need those services. But when you're raising taxes because you're offering free things to everybody, what you're doing is you're incentivizing laziness, and you're de-incentivizing capitalism, which the reality is, without capitalists, you don't have an economy. Without people investing and starting business, you don't have anything. So you're basically punishing the job creators, the wealth creators, right? You're punishing, because all three of us here, we have people that work for us that are on our payroll. Yep. And when you make us pay more taxes, it's less people that we can hire. On top of that, less benefits that we can offer, because what you're doing is you're taking away money because you think that you want to be a social justice warrior and give it to somebody that's never worked for it. And the reality is, and by the way, you back this plan up and you like it, there's nothing wrong with it. But remember that that's envy and hate. right? That means you're envious. You want something that does not belong to you. That makes you a thief. So you don't work for something, you shouldn't have it. You don't deserve it. So the other a certain group of people paying for your desires, needs, or whatever because you think that you're entitled to it just because you're breathing. I think it's a very, very selfish, diabolic way of looking at things because the devil likes to steal and the devil likes to take things that does not belong to him. Other than that, I don't 100% agree with it. I believe that we should pay our taxes, but I don't think that raising it is a smart move.
Marlene, you've made more money. I mean, Marlene, let's go back for everybody that hasn't gotten to completely know your story, Marlene. I mean, you started out as a mortgage broker, mortgage loan originator. Have you made more money along the way with PHP Agency platform on the insurance side of things? And if you have, what have you and Jose, your husband, done to help mitigate your increase of income to make sure you also minimize the income taxes that you pay?
You know, Matt, since Joe Biden's tax plan, I don't think we've had more calls or meetings with our accountants and CPAs. And it's so unfortunate because we love California. We have a pretty big book of business here in California, but we are strongly considering moving out of state. And it isn't something that we want to do. This morning on the podcast, our CEO, Patrick, had a Major Williams, young African-American guy running for governor of California. And I wish
too.
I wish that people would listen to, lowering taxes in California because it forces business owners to move out of state. I didn't grow up with, silver spoon. I didn't inherit money. I came here as an immigrant. My mom is a housekeeper. My dad is a cook. So, the business that we built from scratch. So imagine working your entire life to give almost half of it away in taxes. It's just, I would rather donate it. I would rather, donate. I would rather give it to charity. I'd rather do other things with it. So yes, I do agree. We have to pay taxes 100%. But when you tax corporations, you're also taking away jobs from California.
Yeah, because they have a choice to move. Our own corporate headquarters moved from Glendale over to Dallas, Texas, and the jobs created because of not having to pay those additional taxes in California. I think even Patrick was even talking about on his podcast, like even in the municipality with Glendale, there's like a city tax in a certain area.
Yes, in many cities, there's a city tax. Yes, and I love the idea, and I know Major Williams is one of the candidates that actually adopted this of having a tourist tax.
Yep.
Florida has a tourist tax. We have to find a way to lower taxes in California, and I think a tourist tax would be amazing because people still want to come to California, but we're suffocating the business owners and job creators. And eventually it is the average American that will be taking a hit. Because I do think if I move out of state, I can pay higher wages, give benefits, better medical, hire more staff, better expansion, and I think a lot of people feel that way. So when we think about, taxes, we got to think about what are the repercussions long term.
Ricky, without getting too political into this conversation, because I know you have some very strong beliefs in certain areas, but you didn't grow up thinking like this. You weren't thinking about this stuff, growing up in East Bakersfield in the hood. And by the way, if you guys see Ricky, he's tatted up from, man, and very intimidating dude, but he's one of the most respected guys inside our company. He's a major competitor. He just transferred that energy from the hood to the boardroom. To a context where you can create jobs and it's creating a lot of positive momentum. Ricky, when you first started, how many agents have you built since you got here to PHP Agency, and how many jobs have you created, and independent contractors have you created? And they would have never thought about going in business for themselves or working for you had it not been for you making the decision to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah, Matt. So as of right now, we have, if I'm mistaken, about 680 licensed agents in our organization. In multiple different, I think we're in 10 or 15 different states. I have a support team, my admin team, which is my girls. I love them very much. Palmira, Sonia, Jasmine, Jalissa, Carla, and Pam. And these are my support staff. There's six in our support staff that we have
operations
and in our operations, which Palmira, Carla, Sonia are mothers, and Jalissa takes care of her little brother and her little sister. So the fact that we took on entrepreneurship has allowed us to be able to help these families. Obviously, they put in the work; they deserve every single dollar they get. But we've been able to create a work environment, be able to create a position for them because they're entrepreneurs that allow them to not, and by the way, they're also licensed agents, Matt. So not only do they help us on the admin or support stuff, but they also write policies on a part-time, and they're able to make money both ways. It's the benefits of being an entrepreneur, where you work within an organization, but you also are able to run your operations outside. But I have multiple six-figure earners. I have multiple people making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year on a part-time. I have multiple people with majors that, school teachers, counselors, nurses, lawyers that are using PHP as a vehicle to be able to make some extra income. So yeah, I'm going to give you a perfect example. One of many, I don't want to narrow it down, but I have one of many, Cari and Jesus Sustaita, which Cari has a major, she has a major, a degree, she has a major, and she's a counselor, and she gets actually asked by Sacramento to go speak on behalf of the human services for the Hispanic community, and her husband's a veteran, and they don't make less than $9,000 a month on a part-time with us. And I can tell you stories like that for days. I got people making $30,000, $40,000 a month. I got people making $5,000 a month on a part-time just to pay off some bills. So everything in between. So being able to become an entrepreneur using capitalism and free enterprise as a vehicle for our people have allowed us to be able to help multiple people, whether it be independent contractors or entrepreneurs, help them achieve their financial goals.
I was asking you this earlier to Ricky. You came from working the oil fields.
Yes, sir. I worked for companies like Chevron and Shell, not directly for them, but as a contractor. I worked for a company, which, by the way, I'm extremely grateful. They taught me. So I was there for 8 years. A company called General Production Services out of Taft, California. We actually worked we worked for companies like Chevron, Shell, Mobil, on their leases, so that we were subcontracted by the people they hired. But we worked on, if you pump Shell, Mobil, Chevron, more than likely we were the ones that were servicing the wells to get the oil out of there to make sure that they got to your vehicles or to your engine oil or whatever, anything that uses oil or gas. We're the ones that were having something to do with getting it out of the ground.
Now, I'm sorry, go ahead, Marlene.
And Ricky, I have a question, because I think it's important for the audience to know that you didn't start off as the biggest PHP fan.
No,
your younger brother Alejandro got recruited first. And can you walk us through what was that like when you were not supportive?
So 2 years, I started in 2016. Alejandro had started in 2014, 2015. And for 2 years, he kept telling me, hey, bro, this is going to be a good industry for us. I'm like, bro, I don't do insurance. What do I look like? Jake from State Farm? I'm not going to put on a red shirt and khakis, bro, and sell insurance. That's not, I'm a roughneck. And besides, I had other businesses going on the side as well. So I was already cracking $300,000 a year easily with things that I was doing. I'm like, bro, your guys' biggest guy right now is making $250,000 at the time, in 2016. I said, me going with you right now, I'm going to take a $50,000 pay cut. Obviously, that's not the case now. We have multiple millionaires and multiple people making $500,000, $750,000 and up. But at that time, it was very difficult for me to see the vision because the income was good compared to a lot of other people. But I was already making multiple six figures and it wasn't attractive to me. But what did it for me was, funny. I was telling Matt the story, was that we were having a coffee with MSM, with this organization, and Alejandro 1 week gets paid about $4,300. Next week gets paid $4,700, $4,800. Then again another 40 something hundred. That month he makes $23,000. And I'm like, I've been doing what I'm doing for 8 years. You've been doing what you've been doing for 2 years, and you're almost making as much as me. This is crazy. I know how to do math. In 2 years, you're going to double my income. And I've been doing my thing for 8 years. So in my 10th year, you'd be in your 4th year, you're going to double my income. That's crazy. So to me, and by the way, I was totally cool with it. I was so happy for my brother, but I said, you know what? If my brother can do it and he can make it work, I can make it work. And nothing better than working in business with my brother. I'm so proud to be in business with my brother. I've worked directly in his organization, which is a Born for Greatness organization, which I'm very proud to be a part of. And I'm so happy to be in business with them. We've never been closer. Me and Alejandro have not had a tight relationship previous to PHP. A lot of people don't know that. With same building, 2 different views. That's kind of, I was raised more with my uncles and my dad. Alejandro was raised more around my mom. So hardworking, still the same values, same principles, but our views on life were a little bit different. Our likes and dislikes were different. We didn't have much in common, to be quite honest with you. But after PHP, after I joined PHP, it brought our vision together, and it's allowed us to run as 2 brothers in the business. And I'm so so honored, so happy to be able to do something like this.
Marlene, I think it's awesome that, because obviously Ricky and Alejandro are in your organization under the Great Awakening, under TGA. Marlene, what was it like for you? Let's go backtrack. What was it like for you
It's so funny when Ricky said, if my little brother made this, then I can do that too. It's very similar. So I'm the youngest Del Toro in the family, my maiden name. And my brother is older than me. My sister's older than me. And I remember my brother, because he prides himself as I'm the smart one in the family. I was always just the crazy dreamer in the family. But he looked my paycheck one day and he's like, what? He said, if you can make that, then I can definitely kill it. I'm going to be way bigger than you. And I said, that's awesome. But I think it is to the point, when your younger sibling is making more, you're like, wait a minute. Because as the older sibling, you always think you're better. I have a 4 and a 6-year-old, and I see the dynamics with Lukey's always punking Preston, right? So I think, that competitiveness, but it's so amazing to get a chance to run with family. And I know Ricky doesn't come from money either. His family immigrated here from Michoacan, Mexico. So it's amazing that, somebody that comes from absolutely nothing, wrong side of the tracks, if you will, east side of Bakersfield, can build a business, and not just any business, a national business, and influence so many people.
Yeah. It's, so what was it like for you then? To start building with Alejandro, because throughout our recruiting process, you never were going to land Ricky, who's on our podcast today. So what was it like for you to build a young, single, 23, 24-year-old young man there named Alejandro Aguilar?
Oh my gosh, Alejandro Aguilar was such a breath of fresh air when we recruited him. My brother and my sister, Hector and Erica Del Toro, really took him under his wing. They moved to Bakersfield from LA. My sister is very bougie. The first time she said, I'm moving to Bakersfield, I'm from LA. I said, what's in Bakersfield? I don't think I've ever been there. But he said, no, this guy's going to be a giant, just such a flag carrier. And if you see the Aguilar brothers, they look big, tough, intimidating with their tattoos, but they are the most loyal. They're super protective, super just, somebody that you want to follow. So building Alejandro, and this was a different time in PHP. We weren't as established as we are today. We were a much smaller company. To Ricky's point, we didn't have any $1 million earners yet because we were still starting off, but he's somebody that definitely was a turning point in our business for our organization as a whole.
How much money were you making in 2014 when you finally recruited Alejandro?
Oh my gosh, 2014, I was just trying to survive. I kid you not. We started PHP in 2009. It was our 29-year-old CEO, Patrick Bet-David. I'm 23. We don't have a back office. We don't have a website. We don't have product providers. Looking back, I think I'm so glad that we were so young and so naive, because if we knew how hard it is to start a company, I don't think we could have made it. But as just a few of us, we thought we were the mightiest army that had ever lived. I remember we would read a lot of military books, The Art of War, and, we would just get consumed with, we're going to take over. But I think in 2014, I was probably making $170,000.
Wow.
And as a business owner, by the way, when you have to pay for office rent and staff and, I don't think it was much. In fact, I remember I got married in 2013. We barely had enough money for a marriage license. We got married in Vegas in a drive-through, type of little chapel. We couldn't even afford Elvis. Like, I didn't have a cake. I didn't have flowers. Like, it was like, just give me the license. We're going to, just the bare minimum. That's actually how we got started.
It's amazing. By the way, for those of you watching this podcast right now, just because I'm mentioning Marlene as a first-generation cash flow millionaire and Ricky Aguilar here about to be the next millionaire inside the company, we start from this thing called scratch. Nobody handed you a book of business. Like Patrick Bet-David didn't hand you a book of business, Marlene. There's so many. I love rumors because there's so many things about one another, yourself, that you didn't realize were out there. But Marlene, when you're building that, and then today, if you fast forward, Alejandro's over $500,000, right? He's over $500,000. Ricky's over 800,000 and climbing $1 million. You're over what? One, where are you at right now?
1.3, 1.4.
$1.35 million a year. Yet 6-7 years ago, you just said you're about 180, 170.
Yes. Yes, I wish more business owners can understand that there is a turning point where you're so much closer than you think you are. And by the way, the income that we make here in PHP, when I say 1.3, this isn't because I'm still selling insurance. I'm still selling insurance. This is because I'm opening up offices. I'm training new brokers. I'm opening up agencies. Yes, you can sell, and you're going to sell for the rest of your life, which is what I was doing as a loan officer. That's why I didn't want to do loans forever. I said, if I don't, sell, I'm never going to eat. I'm not, I wanted to have a business where I would get paid, whether I work or not. And that's called having a book of business. And it's a tangible business that you could put your hands on. Yes. But
when you say you're opening offices, let's help define that. Because for me, when I was a traditional life insurance agent and I had 130, 140% contract, and I was out there buying leads and doing dinner seminars, in my mind, I'm like opening up, my overhead has to expand. And somebody that I don't really trust is running my next operation. What's the different context of how you just defined opening a new office? Because not only you are opening an office, Ricky's also opening new offices. And Ricky was just telling me he's got a guy in Oceanside, right, in the 619.
I'm actually heading there as soon as this podcast is over. Yes, sir.
Right. And so you got Fresno, you got all these different spots, you got offices. And Marlene, help us define what you mean by when you say you're opening up offices. Does your overhead literally expand too as well?
no, I'm just a mentor. I'm just a coach. So imagine you work for like a farmer. So you can sell insurance or you can have your own office. The difference with the franchises, they're going to charge you franchising fees, 50,000, 100,000. I mean, I know my good friend Floyd had a Fiesta franchise. At 26, she paid 150,000 for her first franchise. Here in PHP, we don't have franchising fees. I just mentor somebody brand new, like a Ricky. When people say he's about to become a millionaire, has only been here a little bit of time. He's not doing it by just selling insurance. He's doing it because he's opening up new territories. He's expanding. So, and we have a system here that's duplicatable. That is the blueprint. People around, the entire industry wish they had our system because it's been proven to work. And this is how, in just in a short decade, we're the fastest growing company in the entire country because we have more licensed agents, more offices, more footprints, that is just expanding nationwide.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that people don't understand about our model, that has a professional services, component to it. We have the operations of home office supporting us. Like, for example, we just had the 3 C-suite, chief strategy officer, chief information officer, chief operations officer in our office last Friday for closeout night. When do you get a C-suite, 3 C-suite executives, the director of marketing out here with Tigran? They're out here in our office. Where do we get that? And then we don't have to put them on our payroll. That's part of PHP's payroll. And yet they're growing. They're growing our enterprise, and that's what the $199 enrollment pays for, right? Access to these folks. But our overhead, and that's the most attractive things about our business. We have a network marketing component to it, where we have people that override. And, the only way we make money though is not by just plainly recruiting. We got to teach our guys to convert them to licensed agents to sell life insurance. That's the only way we get paid. Just because they enroll for $199 doesn't mean we get paid. Only when they sell life insurance is when they get paid. And so when yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I always say I don't make a penny unless you're licensed and you're profitable. So I have every vested interest. But at the same time, Matt, that's why I'm selective with who I work with too. I'm looking for people that, are hungry, have high self-esteem, that actually want to do something. Because again, we don't get a penny for recruiting. We only get paid if they get licensed and they distribute insurance products. This is why we have, classes, trainings. We're going to train the trainers in Texas next week to train our sales force nationwide to equip people, to sell life insurance, annuities, to learn more about investments. So we do have a platform for that.
Ricky, I want to ask you this question. We can give free training. I mean, you do that week in, week out, but why do we charge $150 for our training? Why do you think it's fair for somebody to put a little bit? Why do you think it's fair for us to be able to have to do that? Because there's 2 arguments. Because when I was part of a financial marketing organization, there's free events, free training, free big events. Why, in your opinion, why should there be some form of barrier to entry in terms of cash up front, $150 to and qualify for it? Why do you think that's a good thing?
Matt, here's I had to I had to process this with somebody just yesterday.
Okay.
And we had this conversation, And the person asked me why. I don't mind. The person said, I don't mind. I totally understand, but how do I explain that to somebody else? So let me walk you through it. As an entrepreneur, you invest in your business. You're no longer an employee. You're an entrepreneur. And so the building we're gonna rent, right? It's not free. And if you're an entrepreneur, you invest in your business, right? So collectively, we are paying for that event. Collectively, we're paying to be able to use the services of the Gaylord. I believe we're going to be at the Gaylord, if I'm not mistaken. And that, I hope that
I think
I'm
it's
right.
I think it's Sheraton, but still, it's
Okay,
a pretty solid spot.
Sheraton.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to be at the Sheraton. The Sheraton isn't free. The Sheraton is tens of thousands of dollars to use your conference room. As an entrepreneur, why would I want to put the weight on somebody else? I'm the entrepreneur.
Yep.
Right? I'm the entrepreneur. So what we have done is that we got what the event is going to cost. And then obviously the company's taking the majority of it, the majority of that cost, but then collectively, all together, we're going to pay for that. So I want my business to be blessed by the business gods. And the business gods do not bless somebody that doesn't invest in their business.
Yep.
And that's not the way the universe works. That's not the way this thing works. Besides, we're teaching you guys how to become, well, we're going to be training, all three of us will be training at this event. We're going to train other people on the secrets that we have. Not the secrets, I don't want to call them secrets, but we're going to teach them our ways that have allowed us to be able to make, by the way, all of us here have made well over $150,000 in 1 month. You know, at the time, you guys obviously already broke that record, but there was a time where me and Erica held the record. Then I actually have
You're the first two.
Okay. We were the first to make $204,000 in 1 month.
Yeah.
Right? A college professor will never teach you to do that, but yet you're willing to pay $50,000 for and by the way, nothing wrong with it. I'm not trying to degrade that or take away from it, but you're going to pay $100 for a textbook, and you have to pay most of them. You have to pay a parking pass. You're going to pay where you're going to live. You're going to pay a college $50,000 a year or get in debt to learn how to be an employee, but you're not going to pay $150 to learn how to be an entrepreneur. Yep. So that's kind of the way that I processed it when I was told, hey, this event costs $150, let's go. It only made sense. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur. And on top of that, there's going to be 5 millionaires training us, Matt. I did the math. It's you got to make $88,000 a year, a month to make $1 million. So if you break down $88,000 a month into 4 weeks, it's $22,000 a week. If you divide $22,000 a week into a 40-hour work week, that's $550 an hour. Yet we're gonna have 5 millionaires. So if you do the math, you're almost at $4,000 an hour of training. You're gonna pay $150. So the value you're gonna get, go ahead, Matt.
And based on the skills that you learned at Train the Trainer, you started in April 2016.
Yes, sir.
And then in 5 years, you went from scratch, non-MD, brand new. I remember Marlene. I remember Ricky walking down because I think we called him up to the front, brand new. You know, this is Alejandro's brother. Oh, watch out! This is Alejandro's big brother, right? And then Ricky he walks down the highway that way. You know, right? He not only was physically intimidated, but mindset wise, Ricky knew what he was about to do. And 5 years later, listen, he's about to cross over $1 million from the skills he learned by putting some skin in the game, which is $150. And
so the math behind that, I could give you the math. For Train the Trainers, coming out of Train the Trainers within 10 months, Matt, we made $110,000. The 10 months after we went to Train the Trainers, year 2 after Train the Trainers, we made $273,000. Year three after Train the Trainers, we made $676,000. Year 4, we made $750,000. No, I'm lying. About $730,000. Year 5. Right now, we're exactly at $860,000 in income in the last 12 months. And this is Train the Trainer after we've grown exponentially. So I could just so mathematically, by the time we go to the next Train the Trainers, we'll be at about a $1.7 million income a year from now. But right now, we're at 860. But mathematically, that's kind of where we're going to be at by the next Train the Trainers using the skill sets from this event.
Marlene, what would you say is your skill set? Because you running TGA, you running your business with inside the business, having a business on top of the PHP Agency platform, you don't have to 100% train your team 100% all by yourself. We collectively come together and we take the best practices from one another. How has that impacted your business to know that you're learning not only from your own people, but also from the collective brain power from the wisdom of the crowd.
It's an experience. People need an awakening. People need an experience. This is why people go to retreats. This is why people go to, marriage seminars. It's to learn, and especially after a year like COVID, I think people are so excited to get back together. But, to Ricky's point of why you have to invest in your business, I think people have free will. You can go to McDonald's, or you can have a filet mignon, right? You have the option. I remember when I was 18 years old, started in real estate, my real estate broker said, okay, if you're going to work here, you need to drive a Mercedes or a Beamer just to start. You got to go see Tony Robbins. You got to pay for your, marketing pictures. You got to do this. And I was excited to do it. And by the way, I did make six figures my first year. And that was because I understand starting a business. I think for people that maybe have never started a business, don't come from an entrepreneurship background, this is why we also have a book club to get people in the mindset. So, we want people that are looking for us. And I think there's a lot of people right now after COVID that maybe have been laid off, maybe they're disappointed with corporate America, and maybe they're ready to start their own business, and they're looking for a mentor that's already ran a successful business to say, hey, guide me. And by the way, that's such an important thing to have, because a lot of people start a business all by themselves.
Yeah.
So to have all the support and train the trainers, I mean, I just don't know where else you can get so much support.
We haven't even talked about the after party. I mean, $150, if you do what you're supposed to do, there's not an upcharge for the after party. And Ricky, would you care to share everybody where our after party is at and who's going to be joining us?
Well, I can tell you, let me start from this way, that way. Ready? Today's the 5th. Tomorrow's the 6th. And obviously 2 days from now, today's Wednesday, it's the 5th. Tomorrow is the 6th, Thursday. Friday's the 7th. On the 8th, Canelo will be fighting at the AT&T Stadium.
Wow.
So, yeah, a lot of people don't
really
know that. Yes, Canelo will be fighting at the AT&T Stadium on the 8th. We will be there, if I'm not mistaken, on the 11th, 10th, or the 11th. We're going to the AT&T Stadium, the Cowboy Stadium.
Woo!
Matt,
Cowboy Stadium,
it's freaking the world number one boxer in the world is gonna fight there less than a week before we get there. I mean, it's the new. By the way, we've gone there. You and me have gone there a couple of times. We watched the game from the skybox, from the Star Suite. It's one. I've been to football fields. It is one of the most sickest football fields I've ever been to. Bo Jackson's going to be joining us. We're going to be throwing footballs in the end zone, kicking footballs. The mascots come out with the big hats. I'm going to have to beat Musgrove again. I'm sure he's going to want to take me to the end zone. He thought his power would dominate me. Then I was able to juke him and catch that touchdown. I'm freaking fired up for the after party, and for people that have never been there. You got to experience that. We walk in from where the players walk in from. You're able to see what they see. It's something that it's a dream. We're going to walk in. I know our faces are going to be on the jumbo. It's the biggest screen or TV in the world. It's the jumbo screen or whatever the case may be. The type of treatment that we get here at PHP from our CEO and founder, Patrick McDavid, it's second to none. This is something that companies just don't do. And the reason that they don't do it is because they don't believe that they're going to change the world the way we do. We truly believe that we're going to change the world. There's the AT&T Stadium right there, and right in the middle of it with our CEO, with there you are with Sheena. It's going to be so much fun. And I'm assuming this after they broke everything down, or it's the opposite side, because they have all the setup on the other side. Yep. So we're throwing the footballs and they have everything out there for us. I'm just excited, man. It's the freaking AT&T Stadium, the Cowboy Stadium. This is the home of Emmitt Smith, the home of what is it? Troy? Is it Troy? He was
Troy Aikman. Yep.
Troy Aikman. I mean, this is the home of superstars. This is where we're going to be at. And then on top of that, a week before we get there, less than a week, Canelo's going to be fighting there and obviously winning his championship over his opponent. I don't even know what his opponent is. It doesn't even matter. Which, by the way, in case you guys didn't know, Matt, the reason that his opponent doesn't want to fight him because they're fighting between a 24-foot ring and a 20-foot ring. But his opponent's like, if you guys don't give me a 24-foot ring, I don't want to fight. And he's making a big old deal about it. Canelo's like, I don't care if it's 30-foot. I'm still going to kick your butt. So it's pretty exciting stuff.
And by the way, who's going to be hanging with us? Who's going to be hanging with us at the after party?
Bo Jackson, Hall of Fame. Bo Jackson's going to be hanging out with us there at the AT&T Stadium, just chilling. He's not going there to speak. He's just going to chill with us. He's going to hang out. He's going to be there with us. He's a big believer in what we do. He loves what we do. He's been in contact with the company and with Patrick, and he's accepted our invitation to come and hang out with us at the AT&T Stadium as an NFL Hall of Famer and record holder.
And he, I think, ran the fastest 40
Yes.
yard dash.
Which, by the way, I don't think it's ever been beat, right? Or is he? Or,
it's, I think a couple guys. I think he ran a 4:19:40. I think there's one other play that may have beat it, but you know, for a guy that big,
he's big.
He's a big dude.
Big, yes, he's a big guy, Matt. Yeah, it's exciting stuff.
I'm excited for that. Marlene, you know, you get to be in this, and you get to drive your people. You know, the fact that we can invest into this thing, and you have to. There's no upcharge. There's no extra cost. All you got to do is just have your people have a certain amount of qualifiers and recognition. By the way, everybody that's coming out here has to be licensed. So it's not like you can just waltz in there and get training without being licensed. So, you know, how are you going to be leveraging this, Marlene, for building TGA and getting you to $2-3 million in income? How are these events like Train to Trainer going to help you springboard into 2021 and beyond? How would you, if a brand new person watching this right now, and our guys are watching this, and PHP families watching this, how does Marlene and Jose Gaytan drive this type of event to train your people?
Yes, Matt, you know, I was laughing because you guys were talking about the whole football, and I think I speak for so many girls on the podcast, and I was like,
we got to bring it back to Marlene.
Like, I have no idea, but I love parties, so I'm super excited to be there. And we're really excited about Train the Trainers. We have people going nationwide to get a chance to learn from industry experts, people that are doing it, people that are making money, people that are getting results. But most importantly, believe it or not, what I'm most excited about is for the social aspect of it. Yep. Being locked up for a whole year, guys, I think my introverts are thriving. They're killing it. For my extroverts, you still need that human interaction. You know, I was just talking to an agent, and she's got a 16-year-old that's, you know, that's going through a lot of mental issues. It's tough for people to be locked up at home and we've never experienced this. If somebody had told us, hey, this will happen in our lifetime, you're going to be expected to be cooped up in your house, we would have said you're nuts. And yet it's happening. So I do believe that, you know, for, agents getting together, because sometimes what really keeps you in a business, it's also the friendships that you make. It's the relationships that you make. It's the people that you get a chance to meet. It's building a business with your family in an environment that you like, with people that are like-minded, that have the same values that you want your kids to be around. So I'm excited for the people that are going to go there, make new friendships, and learn from other people nationwide. And of course, learn the skill sets to go back, make more money, and take their business to the next level.
That's awesome. And speaking of, let's keep it on the ladies here real quick, because I want to talk about what's going to happen this weekend too as well, because many may not know, but Marlene is also expecting. So we're going to add. We're going to add
guys, I have a confession to make. Okay, I have a confession. Okay,
what we got?
I have the trash can right next to me. Okay, because I've had severe morning sickness, and I'm like, dear God, please let me puke either right after the podcast or right before. So far in the podcast, we've been good. Okay, guys, but if I do during the podcast, you're gonna know why. And my husband's like, yeah, you're gonna definitely go viral. I'm like, I probably will.
So I want to bounce some ideas off you and give me a yay or nay, because I'm trying to be creative to celebrate Mother's Day. I have a mother to celebrate. I have my wife to celebrate. Number one, I put a list together, Marlene, about 5 things to say I love you on Mother's Day. Number one, kind of cliche, but flowers and a gift. Now, do moms love flowers from their husbands and their children?
Moms love absolutely anything that you give them. Moms are a lot easier. Now, your wife, I believe Sheena's love language is acts of service.
Yes.
So I don't know if flowers and a gift will cut it. She might expect a massage. She might expect breakfast in bed. She might expect you to put some effort into it, because that's her love language. So I'm looking out for Sheena. I think a little bit more.
Okay, so number 2, I was putting down number 2 is games with mom. Like spend some time with mom, like Scrabble and charades. Any of those things that engage mom and center things around mom. How do you think about that? Spending just that type of quality time with mom.
I don't know. I mean, I would like a gift. I would like take me to the spa, get me something nice. I'm sure some moms will, but I think for a lot of moms, believe it or not, every Sunday, my husband takes the boys to the park for an hour. I cannot wait for that hour on Sunday to have some alone time because it's too many boys in the house. It's always superheroes or, another, transformer or something. So to just get time alone, I think a lot of moms and ladies, if you're a mom, comment here, what would you like? But I would love some time alone. I told my husband, I'll tell you a funny story. It was my birthday. This was about 2 years ago, and my birthday's coming up, and I was really busy. And my husband says, "Hey, your birthday's coming up. What do you want for your birthday?" I said, "Oh, you know what? I don't know. I'm so busy. I have everything. I don't know what I could possibly ask for." So then my birthday comes, and I'm excited. I wake up early, and I said, "So it's my birthday. What did you get me?" And he looked at me with horror and said, "But you said you didn't need anything." I'm like, "So you got me nothing?" I'm like, "Don't you understand? We never mean that." So
oh my gosh.
What I do now, and ladies, take notes, okay? I give him a list of 10 things that I want, right? 10 things that I want. And I'm like, if you're ever lost, pick one of these 10 things, right? So now he has my wish list. So ladies, here's a hint for you. Men don't take hints. They don't take hints. You need to.
Are we supposed to read between the lines, Marlene? I mean, what's up? We were talking code.
They don't. So ladies, if you want something, give your husband a wish list, and then he's forced to pick something from that you want. So, and moms, you should do this too, by the way. But yes, I think moms are a lot easier than wives, because mom, you're going to always love your kid no matter what they do.
Ricky, I mean, what mother would be so proud to have two of her sons rocking the PHP stage? I mean, every time I see you and your brother up on stage, you know what goes through my back of my mind, brother? How awesome is it for mom? Because your mom she was a young mother, she was a single mother, and she raised her family and she did her thing. And just to see her two boys up on stage, what a situation for her to see. What's the coolest thing you've given your mom for Mother's Day?
Well, my mom's spoiled. I bought her already 2 brand new cars. She wanted a brand new Lexus ES350, and she said, my mom's old school. My mom was born and raised. Well, my mom was born in Mexico, raised here. She came here when she was 6 years old. So, but she's still very, very, very. Obviously, my grandparents are extremely hardcore, traditional Hispanic. So that's the household she grew up in, and that's the way my mom is. But she had me when she was 17, and my mom's not the one to ask for anything. Never has been. My mom's a hard worker. She owns some apartments, real estate, and she goes and she works on it. It needs work. She puts on her tool belt and she goes to work. And my mom's a diva too. If you see her, my mom's a diva. She's totally bougie, but she gets down and dirty. My mom's not one to depend on anybody. But I said, Mom, I called her one day. I said, Mom, if you could have any car, which one would you like? And she says, man, amigo, there's these Lexuses. I really like this one Lexus. I saw she had seen it on the freeway. And I said, do you know what it's called? Obviously, she didn't know what it was called. And I sent her a couple of pictures. I said, is it this one? Is it this one? And finally, she's like, yeah, that's the one. I said, all right, cool. So I went down to the Lexus dealership with my brother and picked out a brand new one, 0 miles. And I bought it for her. And then she had that for a couple of years. And then out of nowhere, she's like, she was just talking. We were just talking. And she says, that Lexus SUV that just came out? Well, it didn't just come out, but the new body style of the SUV had came out. I don't know the name of it. It's a bad little Lexus. It's a Lexus SUV. It's the smaller ones, but they're really, really nice. And I said, yeah, I know which ones they are. They're nice. And she says, I really like it. And I said, oh, that's good, Mom. I'm good thing you already own a Lexus. Oh yeah, I'm happy with mine. But it's just topic of conversation. And so anyway, so I called my buddy and I said, hey, bro, look, I'm looking for this. I want the exact same color and interior she has right now. And I want, because her car was pearl white with brown and a dark brown and light brown interior. And I said, find me an SUV just like it, same rims, because Lexus doesn't change their interiors and exteriors very much. They're very, very, very similar. And he says, I got one. He said, I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to give you a good price on it. I said, all right, cool. So I go down there, negotiate it. I call my mom. I said, hey, Mom, come down to Lexus real quick. They got to do a service on your car. Oh, no, I'm lying to you, man. That's not the way it happened. What happened was that I went and picked up that Lexus truck, and I took it to her house. And I said, hey, look what I'm driving. She's like, oh, this is nice. Whose is this? And I said, my buddy's. You like it? She's like, yeah, it's really nice. It was her matching car in the SUV style of it. I said, all right, cool. So I go back to the dealership. I said, Mom, tomorrow bring your car because they got a service. She said, I just got a service. They got to do some stuff. There's a recall. Just bring it in.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says, okay. And I said, give me your keys. And she says, okay. My mom doesn't, And I said, here's your new keys. She said, what do you mean? I said, that's your Lexus truck. She was just So freaking fired up. I got her the new Lexus truck. They put the bow on it. Had it underneath in the the garage where they present them. Mercedes and Mercedes and Lexus and BMW does that for you. Bought her. She does. My mom's fashionable and she likes the Louis Vuitton bag. Went to go buy her Louis Vuitton bag, some red bottoms. Took her to Italy. Took her to Cancun a couple of times. Hawaii, Santorini, Greece. Croatia, took her across the world, and she travels with us everywhere we go. So Mother's Day, my mom doesn't care about Mother's Day. All year's Mother's Day for her, and she knows it. So that's what we're due for her.
By the way, that's a great point there, and I want to encourage you, for those watching this, every day should be your birthday. Every day should be Father's Day. Every day should be Christmas, Thanksgiving, Independence Day, Mother's Day. You should be celebrating life every day. Don't wait for Hallmark to tell you when to celebrate days. So. Guys, in the comments, I'm just curious, in the live chat, what are you doing for moms? What are you guys doing for moms? And throughout this podcast, I'll read it right now. But I appreciate some of the people that's here on the live stream. Maxine Hernandez, Michelle Arachiga, Miss Bacon. I see Hiram Figueroa commenting quite frequently. Jacqueline Fields. Flowers are overrated, but 1969 Capel Andy Red Corvette. That's not a bad choice. And so I appreciate you guys commenting on. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, PHP Agency, and share this podcast. What I want to transition over to right now is discuss our diversity report. Oftentimes, people wonder, Ricky, I think when you came into the business, you said, this is the life insurance business. Now, Ricky, what was your initial reaction when your brother was in the insurance business? What was your initial reaction when you said, oh, what business? Insurance, who does that? What did you honestly think?
That was my reaction. I said, bro, like my dad is, like I said, my dad and my uncles, especially on my mom's, on both sides, they're entrepreneurs. But on my dad's side, my dad has 12 brothers and sisters. None of them work for anybody. They're all entrepreneurs, own restaurants, own dealerships, own real estate, own with everything. And I told Alejandro, you want to open up a dealership? I'm game. You want to open up a restaurant? I'm game. You want to flip houses? I'm game, because we know we have experience in all of it, because my dad did it. All three of those, my dad did it, and my uncles do it. We have the connections for all of it. Like, everybody in the city knows our family because of that. Okay. I said, Alejandro, what the hell are you doing in insurance? We don't know anybody in insurance. I said, we're not white, bro. We don't do that. And he starts laughing. He says, it's not a white industry. I said, the hell it's not. Financial services, the word financial, that's white. That's not Mexican. And it's not because it's a race thing. It's just because it's a culture thing more than anything, right? That's what I was trying to get at with him. He was just laughing. And because, whenever you think of a financial advisor, financial services, you think, John, older in his 50s, working in a high rise or working at a bank. And you go and sit with them and you tell them your finances, tells you what to do. That's what you think. And offering you all the programs they have. So I was like, hell no, I'm not doing insurance, bro. Never am I going to do insurance. And never thought that I'd be in this industry. I'm so glad I am.
So let's take a look at this report. Kyle, Paul, if you can help me put this on the screen here. But let's share our PHP diversity report, which shows the different ethnic demographics that's part of PHP Agency. And so this was just released last Friday on Newsweek. And based on our active agent population, majority of our company is still women. So Marlene, 51% of our company, PHP ladies. And by the way, Marlene, can you quickly comment on the celebration with inside PHP that we have with momtrepreneurs and divapreneurs? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Man, I think ladies just kill it in the insurance business, and especially here in PHP. I always say, women, we talk a lot naturally, and people love hearing us and they love buying from us. So if you're a lady, women speak twice as much as men do, twice as much.
You don't say.
Twice as much. And we always say, because we got to repeat ourselves, because men don't listen the first time. So we have to speak twice as much as men do. But if you think about it, I mean, if you're a mom, moms do just incredibly great in insurance, because we're communicators, we're educators. Women have empathy, women can relate, women have amazing social skills. And I think when it comes to financial services, most women run the financial households in America today. That's typically how it it works here in the US. So, people are just very comfortable to work from women. So 51% women, and that's not common in the financial
Zero.
industry.
Yep. No.
It's not common. I mean, you go to most companies and you're going to see a room full of men and just a handful of girls. And here in PHP, but I think it's also because we have programs like PHP Ladies, we have incentive trips, we have mentorship calls, we have so many leadership events. I know Ricky's wife, Erica Aguilar, she's instrumental in leading the ladies and teaching the ladies. And what we teach is also life skills. We teach marriage seminars. We teach how to be a better wife, how to be a better mom, how to be a better businesswoman, how to manage your time, how to save, how to set goals, how to, just everything from A through Z that, you're not going to get in any other field. And I think that's why we attract so many powerful ladies here in PHP.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Let's take a look at this. 44. It used to be 50% of our company was Latino. Because of the rise of the Black and African American demographic, which is now at 32.34% of PHP, Hispanic Latino 44%, Hispanic Latino. Look at these numbers. I mean, 70, almost 76, 77% of PHP Agency is either Hispanic Latino or Black or African American. Ricky, you mentioned just 30 seconds ago that majority of people in the insurance industry is the Caucasian ethnic demographic. How does it feel to you when you walk into a PHP room, 44% of that demographic is Latino? How does it make you feel as a Latino man?
I'm proud because our people they're waking up and they're realizing the importance of having our finances in order. I'm just glad I'm very proud of being Hispanic and being Mexican. I'm extremely proud. But I think in this case, I'm more, I don't want to say, I'm very excited because our people don't know about this stuff. And it's not because we're victims or nobody taught us or there's some system out to get us. No, it's because simply it was not taught in our households. What you're going to learn in the real world, you're going to learn at your house. But if your parents don't know it, they just don't know it. A lot of us, I think it's 85% of Mexicans, I can give you the stats on Mexicans in America are first generation. They didn't teach this stuff in Mexico. So I'm excited because 44%, because that means our people are waking up, they're learning. And now that number will only go up because we're going to teach our kids to do the same thing. It's exciting for our legacies in our generation more than it is our race. It's more because our people don't have the tools at hand because we don't even know the tools exist. So that's exciting. That fires me up. And the fact that it's 51% women, I was raised by a lot of women in my family. And the fact that it's 51% women, it makes me even more happier because it just goes to show that this company is so diverse so much that even women dominate it. That even women are the ones who are standing up and saying, you know what, we're ready to do something big. And just to see to me, there's nothing more attractive in any world. Now, I'm not saying that, obviously I'm married. I'm not saying any other world, but there's nothing more attractive than a woman that stands her ground and is a powerful woman.
Yes.
And to know that we have that here at PHP and that's the type of women that we're creating, that's freaking exciting. So I'm fired up to hear those stats.
And I think women too have a certain way of saying certain things.
Yes.
That are tough and just direct, that if a man was to say that, he gets slapped. But a woman can say it gets away. And there's just a different way of women coming across that should be celebrated and that should be magnified in the business world. So,
I agree.
Absolutely, brother. Let's go back to this report. So 11 point, by the way, that's increasing. 11.27% of our company is white and Caucasian, and 12.21% of the race ethnicity group is other. That's where I fit in. The Asian, which, by the way, this month is Asian American Pacific Islander month. So salute to my Indian, Pakistani, Asian, Chinese, Japanese, Filipino, Polynesians, Hawaiians, Samoans, Tongans, Fiji. This is our month. It's our month, API month. But here's an interesting thing too as well. If you go over to the right side of this report, I don't know if you guys can see this on the screen, but 6.7% of everybody that's licensed and active in PHP is served in the military. You know, that soothes my soul. I love to see that increase. More veterans that we love to usher with inside PHP. After all, our CEO is a former Army. He's a military veteran too as well. I served in the Marines for 8 years. So there's a lot of top income earners, top leaders with inside PHP that are also that served in the military. But I think the most interesting percentage of this is that 89.28%, you guys can see this on the screen, but 89.28% of our people that are actively licensed in our population has zero industry experience prior to joining PHP Agency. 89%. So and the reason why that's shocking is because we're doing what the insurance industry is not doing. Because what the typical life insurance agencies do, the FMOs do, the career shops, the independent shops, guess what they do? They just try to recruit you from another organization, insurance organization, to join their organization. They don't convert brand new people like me and you, like Ricky. Any life insurance experience before PHP?
I don't even know what a life insurance policy looked like.
Exactly. Marlene, any life, I know you're in mortgages, but any life insurance experience before joining PHP?
No.
My wife, Stryker Medical corporate sales, zero life insurance industry experience. Vargas's, immigrants from El Salvador, other millionaires inside our company. What? A security officer at Sears, zero life insurance industry experience. Palayo, server at Red Lobster, zero life insurance experience. We do. The reason why we are officially the disruptors of the insurance industry because 89% of our licensed agents today had zero life insurance experience. So with that being said, Marlene, what are some of the traits of somebody we love to recruit, that we love to bring on our platform to teach, guide, coach, to be like a next Ricky and Erica Aguilar, to be the next Marlene and Jose Gaytan? What are some of the attributes that we love to bring on board to PHP, especially if they had zero life insurance experience and they can win big here?
We love greenies. Greenies is somebody that's never been in the insurance business, never been licensed, never been familiar. And you know why? I think it's because you see the newness in them. They're so excited to learn. They're so eager to learn. And when they learn financial education for the first time, maybe just learn the basics, you can see such the effect of that it's had in their life and their family's life. So it's very rewarding, I think, as a teacher, as a mentor, to teach a brand new person versus the licensed agents. We love licensed agents, of course, but to teach somebody brand new and give somebody brand new the opportunity is amazing. I do think moms do incredibly well in PHP, military people, nurses, teachers, social workers, anybody that has a heart for helping, and people that like a team sport because we're loud, we're rowdy. We do a lot of things that are not you won't see in traditional corporate America. So if you've been in the military, if you've played sports, you're going to love the environment. But I always look for high self-esteem and desire. High self-esteem. Why? Because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody will. And maybe you're thinking, but I'm in a period in my life, or maybe I just had a baby. I don't have high self-esteem. This is why you need the environment, because it rubs off. You get a chance to feed off other people's energy. Maybe you're stuck in a rut where you're saying, man, I was Mr. Popular back in the day, or I was this guy back in the day. Being in the environment, being around other people that have that kind of momentum, you're going to get back there. So to get a chance to see how we're able to build up people's self-esteem. And I do it naturally. When I was a little kid, I always wanted to give everybody a makeover. And I realized that I enjoy making people feel better about themselves. So to the point of why women do so well here, it's because we're nurturing, we're encouragers, we naturally like to pour into people. And I think everybody needs somebody that believes in them.
Ricky, what do you look for when you're bringing on board new people that like they stick out of the crowd? You said, man, I want to work with this person, like a Yanine Lomelli's, when Art Lomelli, I'm working with your guys now, Moses, because they're part of our March Madness competition. I mean, great couple there, Melissa Lopez and Moises. What are some of the attributes that you look for, brother, when you decide? Because this is a 1099 environment. You're not getting a job here,
right?
This is you're your own boss here. And as much as people want to invest their time, you too are investing your time in building them up. What do you look for?
I'm looking for people that are eager. That are not complacent, that are not that are grateful but not happy about where they are. People that want to do something big, people that want to go out there and change the world. Now, I'll accept to work with anybody that has the willpower and wants to make some extra money. But the ones that I'm really excited for are the ones that say, you know what, I'm making 100, I'm making 80, I'm making 100, but I want to do more. I'm making 150, I'm making 200, I'm making 300, but I want to do more. The ones that are just that they're childlike, the ones that still dream, the ones that still say I can do this, the ones that they don't live in a fear of limiting belief.
Yep.
That they don't live in scarcity, that they don't live in a world where there's no possibilities, that they don't live in a world of this self-victim mentality. People that have courage, that have desire, that have willpower, that are grateful, that are excited about life.
Yep.
That when you're around them, you just feel vibrant. You know, we have the one I'm going to go see today, the couple that I'm going to go see, Kelly and Hector today. The guy talks to you, he fires you up. It's almost like you're your coach. It's crazy. It's, bro, we're going to do this. And by the way, he already runs a successful business, a tiling business. He gets huge contracts. He's getting ready to do about 30 Walmarts all around the country. Now, he doesn't get small projects. He gets big projects. And the guy's already done well for himself. And he just says, I'm just so excited. PHP, I've been looking for this.
Yep.
There we go, Matt. There we go. To put it on in a nutshell, I get excited for people that have been looking for us, that have been looking for our environment, that have been looking for our culture, that have been looking for our drive, our vision, our common goal, and that have been looking to be able to fit in a place or to be able to establish themselves in a place where they can go do something big and they're not going to be judged and they're going to get the support and the help that they've been looking for and seeking for. That's the type of people that I like to work with.
You know, awesome points, Ricky. Marlene, I used to be at 130, 140% contract. And I used to buy leads. I used to do dinner seminars. I used to cold call. At most, I made a $350,000. I produce. And I realized that was a sales environment. But over here at PHP Agency, I'm at a 75% contract with bonuses, with GEB bonuses and generational overrides, et cetera, et cetera. But now here, even at a 75% contract, my wife and I are making $1.9 million a year now. And I never made that as a salesperson at 130, 140% contract. And it's weird. So people are like, there's the difference between commission and compensation plan. But that's the same time too, Marlene, there's a difference between a sales environment and a leadership environment. Can you unpack that? Can you explain the difference between just being in a sales environment where you were potentially at mortgages versus a leadership environment here at PHP?
You know, I think eventually when you do sales, you do get lonely. It's just you. And sometimes we do more for others. I'll give you an example. Ricky, he's the biggest flag carrier, meaning he will do more because he's needed. He needs to be a part of something bigger than himself. I mean, he could have probably led a revolution or something, but he doesn't get filled just like, I'm going to go sell and make money for me and my family. That wouldn't fill a Ricky Aguilar. A lot of military people wouldn't be filled. I think this also allows people to, fulfill that purpose of I'm making a difference. When you get a chance to mentor, recruit somebody that didn't have the confidence, didn't have the knowledge, and you teach them how to get a license, you teach them how to make money, you get a chance to see their children, how they're able to provide for their family. I think it's a labor of love. And when you do build an agency, when you do it long enough, it isn't just you selling forever. It's you transferring your knowledge, and you have a book of business that's going to pay you, and you don't have to sell forever. But I don't see military people just selling because they're not a lone wolf. They're a pack environment type of person, So for the people that like to be around other people, I think they definitely thrive here.
By the way, guys, I appreciate you guys hanging on with us here with this entire podcast, episode 7. Hiram, appreciate you commenting here. Liz, Jason, Joe family, TRC, Tuttle's Land, Okran, and Savali Tuaveave. We got some Polynesian culture here too. Is Coach Eric. Appreciate you guys engaging in the chat box here. Ephraim Adiola, Angelica Arcos, Matthew Torres, life management guy, also in the military, Army 3502 Widowmakers. Hooah! Maxine Hernandez, 89% with zero experience. That's amazing. Ricky, we talked a lot about today, and I appreciate you educating today about Cinco de Mayo, us understanding your story. And I recommend, if you guys are in Bakersfield, you guys are in California, and you want to work together with Ricky Aguilar, make sure you follow him on Instagram. we're very transparent. You follow us on Instagram, we'll show you our life. It's just not a front. We'll show you exactly what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. And you should be watching Ricky's Instagram stories as well as his Instagram profile. But Ricky, as you wrap up today, what's some of your final thoughts, man? We're going to May right now. We're living this. Potentially, we're leaving the post-pandemic era potentially here. People got hurt last year because of the pandemic. What are some final thoughts you have today? And people from the outside looking in, looking at PHP Agency, what would you tell them?
I hope that 2020, which all of us, we're not the exception. I hope that 2020 and part of 2021 taught you a lesson. That nothing that you have is secure. And that maybe you're not in the right industry. And then when they have to make cuts, your throat is going to be one of those cuts. I hope that you learned that you could also see entrepreneurs that blossom and boomed and say, I can be that person.
Yep.
I hope that you don't go back to what you're used to. I hope that you don't think it's just going to be okay. I hope that you don't think this is the last time this is going to happen. I hope that you don't think this is the last time they're going to politicize a pandemic. I hope that you don't do that again. I hope that you don't follow your old trends. I hope that you wake up. I hope this was a wake-up call for you. I hope that you do something big with your life. I hope that you stop living as if nothing's going to happen, like it's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay. You have to make it okay for you. If you put you being okay in the hands of somebody else, well, 2020, 2021 taught us that is a big mistake. So going into the half, almost to the half mark of 2021, I wish you nothing but success. I wish that you hope. I wish you nothing but growth. I wish that you have a little bit more. I wish you more enthusiasm, more excitement, and I hope that you make the choice to do something big with your life. Jump on board with a company, primarily our company,
that
will teach you that you could do something big with your life and your future, your legacy, your bills, your income does not have to depend on how someone puts you on a totem pole, highest to lowest, and decides to cut you whenever they're put against the wall and say they have to make cuts like they did in 2020, 2021. So I hope that you make a change and you start to live in a way that puts you in a position to where you take full control of your life.
And for those of you in PHP, you cannot wait to meet Ricky and Erica Aguilar, who builds this coming together. The bills they're coming together as a power couple. I cannot wait for you guys to meet. If you cannot wait to meet Ricky and Erica Aguilar, put in the chat comments in the chat box that you're looking forward to meeting them. Make sure you also follow them on Instagram. Marlene, let me ping it back over to you. Thank you, Ricky. Let me ping it over to you, Marlene. What are some of your final thoughts of what we just discussed today?
Just listening to Ricky, I'm just really excited and grateful for him to be here in this podcast to highlight, just up and coming stories. And I'm looking here at the people commenting and, I can't wait to see who's going to be the next person on the podcast. Maybe Liz and Joe, maybe Matt Torres. I know people that have been very active, but want you to know that we appreciate you watching. But we talk about you guys, we think about you guys, and I'm just excited for all the new stories that will be up and coming this next season to get to know your story and to highlight you and to help the world see who you are so that you can inspire other people.
Yeah, we are big fans of the next unusual suspect that chooses to be a usual competitor with inside our platform. We're not afraid of building up the new wave. We're not afraid about building the next era. And for some of you that's commenting right now, you might be going from commenter to commentator on this podcast. And we're excited to see you guys at Trainer. And for those of you looking out there, you're not sure about exactly what you're going to do financially. You've been searching other things. You've been looking at, Forex. You've been looking at crypto, real estate, franchises. You've been looking at another job. You're potentially looking at a different career path in going back to college, hopefully avoid student loan debt. But if you want somebody that's going to teach you sales, they're going to teach you entrepreneurship, they're going to teach you this industry, which, by the way, the industry, if you Google this, the industry most likely to make you a millionaire is which industry? Number one on the list is the financial service and insurance industry. Number 4 is real estate. So go do your research on it. And I want you to know this is one of the industries that has absolutely changed my life. As a single father at one point for 11 years, I was a single father with 3 kids. Had it not been for somebody cracking open the door, he had to give me a foot in the door to get involved in the life insurance industry, where would I be today? And we are in the pay it forward business. If you've been watching us, you've been listening to us, you're part of the PHP family, you got to know, man, it's not about our title. It's not about the income we make, but the lives that we change. So with that being said, if you haven't done so already, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you click subscribe, follow our page, PHP Agency. And if you're watching this live stream on Facebook, make sure you click like and like our business page, PHP Agency. So with that being said, guys, we'll see you at Train the Trainer. And make sure you make some time to go introduce yourself to Marlene Gaytan, Jose Gaytan, and Ricky and Erica Aguilar out there in Dallas, Texas. With that being said, on behalf of Ricky and Erica Aguilar, on behalf of Marlene Gaytan, I'm your money smart guy. And we look forward to seeing you in a few days here at Train the Trainer. Till we meet again, continue to help people, continue to love people, and continue to change your lives today. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye, 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 bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.